Hey guys, I want to give this just a few minutes to get set up, and I should be going live on YouTube now. Awesome. So I'm going to share this YouTube link with my
I want to give this just a few.
followers on Facebook so they can hop in over to YouTube. Although I have a feeling that YouTube is going, or I'm sorry, Facebook is not going to be happy with me directing my conversation over to YouTube. But that said, don't worry. Or I don't want people to worry. This is going to be recorded, and I'll try to figure out a few different ways to share it on Facebook. So I got a very important question today that I feel like I need to address sooner rather than later. And it's, can I trademark the word coronavirus? So yeah, I mean, why not? There's actually already a pending application for the word coronavirus for the name of a band. And there was an anthrax band, right? Back in the 80s. I don't know if they're still around. I have no idea. But there is probably at least one pending application for coronavirus. So, I mean, as long as the underlying products are legal, then, and as long as there aren't any other hangups in the application process, like likelihood of confusion with another prior filed mark, then you can probably get it registered. So there you go. I hope that was helpful. But I also hope that I am currently recording. If anyone wants to give me a shout out and say, hey, Suzi, I see you right now, that would be awesome. Because I am a little bit, I feel like I always mess up when I'm trying to do something tech wise. But I wanted to get on here and just talk about a few things. I know that a lot of people, are talking to their friends and their clients, especially about what is going on within their businesses. But first of all, please know that if you are a current client of mine, really nothing is going to change for how we work together. I have been an online slash digital business for probably 10 years. And I remember when I was a young associate working at a law firm between probably the years of 2003, 2010, I was probably one of the first people at the firm that was like, please let me work remotely. Like, I wanted to be in the firm, of course, but I also knew that, I could get a lot of work done without being stuck in a cubicle or in my office at the time. So I was a big proponent of working remotely, back 15 years ago. And I've been doing the remote working and for a long time, so really nothing is going to change. I have never filed a trademark application via paper. I've never filed anything with the USPTO via paper. My day-to-day work is not going to really be impacted by this. I have my own office, so I'm very, very fortunate. I could work from home if I wanted to, but to be honest, I like kind of disconnecting from my home, which is kind of like a place of respite for me, and coming into my office. My office is in a group of, I have a private office, but there are other offices in this area. I'm always very, conscientious of washing my hands and, opening doors with towel or, paper towels. And I encourage you to do the same thing. Now, that's kind of the first thing I wanted to talk with you about is just, I wanted you to know that as my clients, if you're my client, there's not going to be, you won't notice anything different. If in the very unlikely event that I do get sick, hopefully that's not going to happen. I've taken a lot of precautions. I've already kind of been self-isolating a little bit, maybe over the past 2 to 4 weeks. In that unlikely event, I do have backup plans. most of the work that needs to be done is I try to get things filed well ahead of time. So, we're not going to have to worry about that. So, um, yes, please don't be concerned about my ability to provide good work for you. I will continue to do that. And then I do have backup plans in the very, very unlikely instance that I do get sick, but I'm not going to, right? None of us are. We're taking precautions, and we're working from home, and we're practicing physical distancing. Or I think that's so important. So I guess I want to talk just really quickly about what, health authorities are saying. Of course, do the things that you need to do the things that they're telling us to do, wash hands, practice these good measures, work from home if you can, isolate to the best of your ability. And I really the purpose of this, though, is to talk about fear and why and how, using our words is so important. As a trademark lawyer, words to me are so important. I love words, and they can have so many underlying meanings. And I think that the way that we use our words is so important. And I want to also talk about opportunity. So, first of all, Elon Musk, who I kind of have a love-hate relationship with. Sorry, Elon. One thing that he's said in the past is fear is the mind killer. And I think that's so important. But keeping in mind that fear can, if we properly construct it, it can be used to our advantage. Barbara Corcoran has said, finding opportunity is really just a matter of believing that it's there. So I think that mindset is so important right now for everyone. I know that it is for me. I haven't necessarily been in a place of fear. I've not been in a place of panic, but I've been paying a lot of attention to the news, and maybe to the point where it has maybe impacted my creativity a bit. And when you are so consumed by news and panic, it can really suck your creativity. So just be very careful with that. And I'm not talking about that from a place of, oh, I'm so great and I'm not done this. I'm talking to people from a place of, I've been this way, right? I've been this way. I'm guilty of it, just as much as the next person. I'm going to pause for 1 second and see if that posting went on to my Facebook page. I'm going to pin it, mark it as an announcement. And I'm going to pin it to the top. And this is my Facebook page, Trademark Trailblazers. If you are watching this video at a later time, make sure you join us over at Trademark Trailblazers, and please do answer my 3 questions that I ask. I have some people that they don't answer it, and I don't know if it's because it's a highly vetted group, and I want to keep it that way. So please answer my questions. They're not hard. They're fun. And they help me get to know you a little better if I don't already. So back to my conversation. I did want to check into my Trademark Trailblazers page since I'm pushing this to YouTube. So yeah, and I'll be honest, I don't know. Oh, I'm seeing chats. Blake. If you look in so please forgive me because I am just figuring this out. And the chats are coming through like a little bit of a delay too, but I'm seeing them. This is actually pretty cool. I'm going to be like the other YouTube people. Make sure you like this video, subscribe, and share if you want to. Blake, you're in Thailand. I don't give a shit. Am I heading down to a tropical beach? Good for you, Blake. Do that. Go work from the beach, enjoy yourself. And I'm going to talk about Thailand in a minute. But I don't know, everyone, do not listen to Blake. Do not listen to Blake when it comes to medical advice. He is not a doctor. I know this. But wear your shades to be cool and to protect your vision. That is very important. So back to mindset stuff. And Blake, again, I'm so happy that you're here. I don't want people to be afraid. And remember, there really is so much beauty and good in the world. So please get out and enjoy nature right now. I always harp on that. I know that if I get into a place where I'm sort of stuck, I I might get into a really bad routine, and I notice like I am so negatively impacted if I'm in front of a computer too much. But if I go out for a hike, if I go for just a walk outside and get some fresh air, spend time with my little dog Sadie outside, it just does a world of wonders for me. If you're at the beach, get out there and enjoy it. Kind of the other thing I did want to talk about was the words that we use. Choose your words wisely. Again, I don't want to talk to people from like a patronizing standpoint, because I want to talk to people from a standpoint that I notice myself doing this, right? Think about the words that you're using. As you all know, I love words. I'm a trademark lawyer. All words have meaning, right? Words mean things, not just from kind of a social perspective, but also from a branding perspective. And I wanted to share this really interesting thing that I found and you know what I'm going to do? I want to share this link with the person that did this research. And it's a very informal research this person did, but I thought it was really interesting. He talked with a bunch of CEOs of businesses that range from 2.2 million to $511 million. And the person that did this is actually quarantined, and he wanted to unpack the CEO's psychology and their plans and their current experiences. So again, I'm going to post this because I want to give attribution to this person that did this. The reason he did that is he says that this is a big portion of the clientele we serve with our custom team and personal performance advisory. And he wanted to check in on their inner psychology and strategy for their current times. And he wanted to see what people were saying and what their word choice was. And what he learned kind of from this small experiment that he did was, your words really create your reality. And he found that there was a group of fear-focused CEOs. He had some more unfocused CEOs. And then he had more of your strategy-focused CEOs. And I wanted to just run by some of the language that they were using according to this research that the guy was doing. The fear-focused group, they use the word government, Trump, 11 times more than the strategy-focused group. They use the words coronavirus or COVID-19 7 times more than the strategy focus. They use the word feel. They use negative and future pacing words 13 times more than the strategy focused groups. They use the words struggle, fear, hard, difficult. I think that's fascinating. So the unfocused group, so these aren't necessarily the fear focused ones, but they're kind of the ones that are just more unfocused. They allegedly are consuming media approximately 3.5 times more than the strategy focused group, which I'll get to in a minute. They use the word plan a lot more in negative ways. They use the word finding. They use the word hysteria, vacation time off, 6 times more than the strategy focused group. I thought that was also really interesting. So now let's talk about the strategy focused group. Okay. These are the people that we really want to emulate. These people are 3 times more likely to know about Taiwan's response to the coronavirus. And I want you to keep in mind that Taiwan has had the fastest, smartest, and one of the most measured responses to the coronavirus. So I think that's interesting. They're 9 times more likely to be shifting product and service offerings. They're 4 times more likely to have already made changes to their teams. Let me see. They use the words action and opportunity in words that are derivatives of that. And they 6 times more than in the other groups. They use the word buy 8 times more than in the other groups. And they use positive future pacing terms. Okay, so I really want to drive home the fact that absolutely, Blake, you just chat away. You might be the only one chatting, but you just chat away. Maybe I'll chat back, but I do want to run through these because I think it's super important. But no one right now, none of these people in these different groups or these CEOs, no one's not currently experiencing a revenue dip. Okay, they're all experiencing some type of slowdown. Again, the fear focused group, these were the ones that were the most negative. They were watching way too much media, and they were really thinking, they were playing the blame game, right? Trump. They're blaming everything on Trump. Whose fault is this? This seems to cloud their judgment. It makes it harder for them to think about what can be done. Now, our unfocused group, they're the ones that kind of had that head in the sand. I've seen a lot of this. I feel like this is kind of the people that I've noticed in my group a lot more, people that have had their head in the sand about this. They are, they're not necessarily fear focused, but they've, they're a little bit better about finding some kind of plan. And then of course that strategy focused group, they're leaning into this situation way more than the other two groups. They're focusing on solutions. They're focusing on positivity and security. They're not blaming others. They're not consuming their energy by focusing on negativity and blame. I think that's so important. The key points, these three CEOs, these three different groups, there were three of them, according to this research, that really stood out. And according to the person that did this research, again, link is going to be provided because I want everyone to look at it. They all had a daily meditation practice. Okay, I have been a big fail on a daily meditation practice for several months. And I will tell you that, not to get super woo-woo, but the times that I've had meditation practice, it's been so healing to me. And I don't know what has caused me to sort of bounce out of that. It's, I don't have that explanation, but it is something that I am going to start implementing and practicing. And I think that after I get off of here, I'm going to do that very, very thing. So again, let's not be fear focused. Let's not use negative words. Let's not play the blame game right now on this. No matter what position you are in on this, let's avoid words like "I told you so." That doesn't do anyone any good. Blake, totally. I'm just here for the accent. My calls are just there for your accent. So I love your accent. You've got such a cool accent. So again, this is not the time to blame. This is not the time for, negativity. Let's use words like action and opportunity. Are there businesses we can buy? Can we look to hire? What can we look in terms of growth and sustainability? How can we improve our businesses right now? I harp on my clients to not be so Amazon centric. I've been doing that for a while. The other thing I want to harp on with you guys is let's think about ways that we can not be so China centric. Or if anything, can we not be so, in terms of inventory and logistics, can we look at diversification? Can we look to Thailand? I have clients that are looking to Thailand. Woohoo! Can we look to Singapore, Bali in terms of supplies in our inventory? I think that this is really important. I don't want people to be pulling back from their businesses right now. I think that this is really a time to lean in and meet with their teams and ask, what is our vision here? Tap back into that. Is this a time right now that you need to revise your vision a little bit? It's totally okay. Trump makes me bounce out of my meditation because there is no meditation with fascism. Right? I am going to I'm blaming all of this. It's all Trump's fault for sure. But yeah, so, some of the biggest business growth in the past actually happened during, times that we're struggling. So for example, Lego had some of their biggest growth soon after the Great Recession. And that was because they started diversifying their clients or their customer base. And so I think that's really important. I don't want fear to overpower people. And I want people to really think about honing in on their strengths. And I know that a lot of you guys have teams, right? This is the time to step up as a leader and to not only step up as a leader on your team but in your community as well. There's probably not going to be a lot of travel outside of your community for a while, but think about how you can give value to your community. Are there any older people that live in your building or in your community? Leave them notes and say, hey, call me or text me if you want me to pick up some things at the store the next time I go, because I know that a lot of stores are going to be limiting hours, and there's not a lot of things that some people are going to be doing social wise. But reach out to the elderly people of your community. Ask them, how can I help you? Go get their groceries for them. Don't expect anything in return from them. Don't expect them to pay for it. I mean, if you can help them with that way, please help the elderly in your community. We don't want them getting out if they can help it. I know that the elderly that I've spoken with are very, very stubborn, and they don't want to stay home. And it's so hard to get them to stay out of their, socializing so good for them. And it's like kind of balancing that with them. So, if you have people in your community that are older and they're like, no, 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 we still have to socialize, you're going to have to respect that. You have to still respect your elders and what they want. Blake, I want you to live it up, right? It is, it might be the apocalypse. This is kind of reminding me of a really good book that I read several years ago called The Beach. And I think it was actually based in Australia. And I cannot think of who wrote this book. But it was actually right after, I think it was nuclear war. But so it was a very interesting book. So if you haven't read that book, for some of you, it might be a good time to read the book. For some of you, it might not be a good time to read that book, but it makes me think of you because these people were located in Australia. So I just don't want you to be stuck in fear, right? Take this as an opportunity to figure out how can you grow your business and how can you support the people that are around you. I think that's really important. I don't want people to get paralyzed with fear. Keep moving forward. I kind of feel like over the past week, I got a little paralyzed, and I've been, because I haven't been as responsive with some emails, and I've been listening to the news too much, and I'm like a little scared. I've been in a place of fear, and I don't want people to do that. It is the wrong way to approach our business, and it's the wrong way to approach our life. I think it's important to be smart, right? Be smart when it comes to what you're doing. Got another new staff also. You're killing it. Yeah, right. We have to continue on with our lives, right? But be smart about it. I'm looking here at all the additional notes that I have because I have lots of notes for people. Everyone needs to do things that make sense for them. If you are being forced to work from home and things do slow down, appreciate some quiet time, journal, do art, meditate, listen more, take opportunities to learn online. The information of the world is at our fingertips right now. Take advantage of it. Stay safe and stay practical. Do all, those important things like washing your hands and wearing your sunglasses. And I don't know so much about Bernie being business friendly. Bernie gets elected. Hey, I love the guy. Don't get me wrong. I love his vision. I love his passion. And one of these days, I kind of want to live in the world of Bernie, the Bernie paradise. God love him. I feel like maybe he came about 20 years too late. But we still have to work. We still have to work. If Bernie is elected, he's not going to be, but it would definitely impact me. We live in a capitalist society. I think, I say maybe we would be ready for Bernie in 20 years, but maybe 50 years. We're just not there as that type of society yet. And maybe we will be one day. And like I said, I honor Bernie and his vision. I think he's a good person. I love it. Like I said, I love like his vision, the beauty of his vision. It's just not realistic. It's not realistic. I need to know what you've been drinking, Blake, and what time is it in Thailand? Be safe. But another thing, I mentioned a minute ago, this is the time to be generous and giving to our neighbors. And I feel like when you have times of turmoil like this, and see, I got to be careful. Look at that word I just used, turmoil. In times like this, I think it can bring out the best in people, and it can also bring out the worst in people. But I want you all to be the best that you can be right now. Give to your neighbors. If there are children that are out of school right now, is there any way that you can donate to the food bank at the schools? I know that a lot of schools, like even in my town where I live, which is super duper small, schools are out for 2 weeks plus a spring break. And I think this needs to be done. I'm a big supporter of letting the schools out. I understand the downside, and I'm always happy to listen to different sides. And I might change my mind, but right now, I think it's so important that schools are out. As long as we can continue to provide that social support for children. I am 100%. I think education is so important. And I'm like one of those people that I'm like, if school could go in session all year long with multiple shorter breaks throughout the year, I would be all for that. But right now we need to be doing our physical distancing. And I'm moving away from the word social distancing because I think that it's a little bit of a misnomer. And again, it comes to what are our words. I think it's more important to physically distance. I don't want people to be socially distancing themselves if it's possible. Another thing, I don't want people to shame other people, no matter what side they were on. Again, it's not an I told you so situation. It's, I think it's very easy for people to say, I told you should have prepped 2 weeks ago, right? Or if this all blows over, I don't want people to be saying, I told you that this would be a nothing burger. I hope in 4 weeks, we're going to look at this, or 8 weeks, and say, thank God we dodged a bullet and that we took the proper steps to prevent the spread of this disease. But most important, I really want people to step up. This is the time to step on your business and your organization, in your communities, in your, whatever you're doing, and lead with compassion and love in whatever it is you're doing. And remember, so I fell at this. But, because sometimes like I'll go somewhere and I'll have an encounter with someone and I'll be like, why did they act that way? Or they were so rude or whatever. Don't react to that. Just remember that everyone is dealing with their own battle. Okay. Everyone is dealing with their own internal battle, especially right now. We don't know if the lady, who was working at the grocery store is stressed about her child because she's left her 12-year-old at home alone for the first time. Okay. Because there's going to be a lot of that right now. There's a lot of people that are trying to deal with this, leaving children at, with family members or even at home. And so we don't know. Just remember that people are always dealing with their own battles. And Blake, I too, like social distancing, I always say us introverts are winning, right? Us introverts have this, we've got this thing locked down. Learn to lean into others right now and ask for help. Guys, listen, if you need help and you want someone to talk to, respond to this, email me, send me a private message on Facebook. Let's talk about it. I think it's I don't want you to be stuck in a place of fear. And like I said, I think last week I was a little bit paralyzed, but what I saw going on. And I think it's really, really important to not be stuck in a place of fear. And I will never forget when I was in law school, I was a second year law student during 9/11. And I remember going to class that morning, and I was actually on my way to class that morning. I'd woken up and I was studying, and so I wasn't really paying attention to the news. I was like preparing for class because I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get called on today. I got to prepare. I was preparing for class early that morning. That was a Tuesday morning. And yeah, I remember what I had on that day. And I just remember getting into my car that day and hearing the news. And I was just like, that's so bizarre. I just did not occur to me that we were having a terrorist attack, right? It was not even something that would cross my mind. And we had class that morning. People were talking about it. A lot of us, though, we were focused on very much on learning, right? Our studies, and we just were not paying that much attention to the news until probably about 9:30 or 10 that day. And then, of course, the Pentagon, was attacked, and things were getting really scary. And I remember one of my last classes I went to, the professor said, we are having class today. He said the sun is going to rise tomorrow. So I'll never forget that, him saying the sun is going to rise tomorrow. The sun is going to rise tomorrow. We cannot live in a place of fear with this. We have to keep going. We have to look at our opportunities. We have to be careful about the words that we use now more than ever. It's not just with trademarks, right? It's with how we talk with people. And I think teasing and joking right now and sending funny memes, hey, I'm all about it, right? I think that we still have to, we have to connect with that innermost part of us, right? And with other people. So the world's not ending. The sun is going to come up tomorrow. And I want to read something really amazing that I came across yesterday, and I'm going to give attribution to this as well. I'm going to link to this. And it was written by Brandon Stanton. And this guy's really interesting. He wrote this, or he came up with this website called humansofnewyork.com. And I've been familiar with this site for some time because it really puts a human face on the people of New York City. A lot of us look at New York City as, whoa, we don't realize like they're just humans that are living there and going about their daily life. So let me read this to you, and then this will be my closing. And like I said, I'm going to link to a couple of different, I'm going to link to Humans of New York, and I'm going to also link to the study, because I think that you'll get a lot more out of it by just looking at it yourself and learning. So please read these. So this is Brandon Stanton. Something is coming. This isn't a philosophical debate. It's not a math problem. It doesn't require a calculator. The worst of what we're seeing across the globe will soon be here. The only thing that separates us is time. Like most people, I've been consumed with the instinct of self-preservation. I've been trying to figure out how to best protect my family. These feelings tend to swell during times of fear and anxiety. But as a storyteller, I'm also feeling a different instinct. I think that this will be our generation's world war. Hopefully this war will be short. Hopefully it will pass with a single season. Hopefully containment in warm weather will buy us enough time for a vaccine, and we will greatly limit the loss of life. And hopefully the most dire predictions will prove to be alarmist. But regardless, for a time, the entire world will be at war. The one fortunate twist is that all of us will be fighting a common enemy. And as with all wars, each of us will be remembered by our behavior during this time. What instinct did we embrace? The instinct of self-preservation or the instinct of compassion? During our world war, did you make things better, or did you make it worse? Did you lash out, or did you comfort? If you have extra, did you share? If someone relies on you for their income, did you pay them? If your neighbor lives alone, did you help them prepare? If you wonder how somebody is making it, did you call and ask? We're going to be fine, But we're going to be fine because there are so many people who will choose humanity over selfishness. There will always be people who make things better and better until things aren't bad anymore. We will lead by our healthcare professionals over the coming weeks. They will be our heroes and they will need all our love and gratitude. For one, for everyone else, the best way to save lives right now is social distancing. So I will be continuing HONY as normal, but I will still be sharing stories. No matter where you are around the globe, if you have a happy story, send me an email and I'm going to provide Brandon's email. Maybe something amazing happened to you today. Maybe you overcame something that seemed impossible. Maybe somebody changed your life and you want the world to know about them. Send me a short description of the story, and if chosen, we'll do a full interview over FaceTime. Humans of New York Quarantine Edition is beginning now. So I'm going to share all of that information down below so you can submit that to Brandon and Humans of New York. So take care of yourselves and let's take care of one another, Brandon. I love that so much. So, guys, please take care of yourselves, take care of one another. Just know that I am operating as business as usual. For the most part, again, I'm mainly physical distancing myself. I kind of work in an isolated position anyway. Everything I do is online. Nothing is really different for me. If you have questions about how to work at home, and if you're having any challenges from that regard, please, again, feel free to reach out to me. I've been doing this for a really long time, and I've been a digital entrepreneur for a while. I don't want to say that I'm like really a digital nomad. I don't really travel that much. If you have questions about that, ask Blake. So I don't travel as much as I used to, but obviously Blake is on a beach right now working, and a lot of people do that now. That's a cool thing, right? So please reach out to me if you need anything at all, if you have any questions, or if you just want to talk. I really am here. So I don't think that because I'm an attorney, that you can't just reach out to me and have a conversation with me. I'm a real person, and that's what I do. So I'm thinking about all of you and about my clients, and let's try to do one really awesome thing for people today. So please know that I'm here. Okay, bye guys.